Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to resume our gauntlet tests, but we're going to start doing things a little bit differently. We're going to roll in PCCs, and that means pistol caliber carbines. In this case, we have the Stribog SP9A3, which is the roller delay version of the popular SP9A1 that predates it. So this is a brand new gun on the market, and we figured, why not? Let's start our series of gauntlet tests with PCCs by using this little Slovakian 9mm champ. All right, so what we've done is we have loaded the magazines with 15 rounds each. These are 124 grain Federal rounds. In our testing of this gun, it likes these rounds. We've had no malfunctions with these rounds that I can recall. We did have some problems with some 115 grain ammunition. And right now, I think we're right around, let's see, the first time I shot it, about 300 rounds. We shot 400 rounds earlier today. So we're almost to 1,000 rounds through the gun. I did clean it up, wiped it down. It is lubricated and ready to go. So we have 15 rounds in our test magazines. We only have 3 of the new mags, so we're going to have to use one of the old mags in our tests here. And this magazine has 10 rounds loaded, just a function check. So if you're not familiar with the Gauntlet series of tests, basically this is it in a nutshell. Our first pass through is what we call the elements test. We'll put the gun in the water, we'll fire it. We'll put the gun in the sand, we'll fire it, clean it in the water, go to the dirt, fire it, clean it in the water, go to the mud. If it makes it through that test without a whole bunch of malfunctions, we'll put it through the Gauntlet, which means water, sand, dirt, and mud with no rinse cycle in between. All right, guys. Also, please take a moment to check out BDU, Big Daddy Unlimited, who is kind enough to support the channel. If you want to go down to the link down below in the video description, click that link, use a bright yellow, right at the very top of the militaryarms.org website, there's a bright little yellow banner. Click that banner, and just for the first month, 99 cents, and then you can get 20% off if you want to stay a member going forward, which is $7.99. All right, with all that being said, let's fire our 10 test rounds to confirm function. We have removed the brace so it will fit in the containers here. This is how it would ship from the factory. All right, 10 rounds. Perfect function. So now we begin. 15 rounds chambered. All right, the weapon is loaded with a round in the chamber. Lay it in the water, let it get completely full. Wait for those bubbles to stop. And here we go, 15 rounds. All right, next up, sand. Load the weapon. We'll lay it in the sand, push it down on one side. Make sure we're nice and smooth here. Push it down on the other side. And here we go, 15 rounds. Malfunction. All right, so we'll go ahead. I'm going to clear it like this. Okay, we have a round in the chamber. All right, we'll resume. One malfunction there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and clean the gun off as best we can. In the water, lock that bolt to the rear, load her up, and now we go to the dirt. Now what we're going to do is just push it down on one side and then the other. All right, 15 rounds. Failure to eject. Again, we have a round chambered. All right, locked open. Clean her off again. And now the mud. This is where I get really dirty. All right, push it down on one side, my favorite part. Push it down on the other, and here we go. All right, I'm not touching the bolt hold anywhere, and it just locked open. okay? It was grit. The bolt just hung up on grit. All right, it got that last round into the chamber and cycled, but she's pretty gritty. All right, it did well enough to warrant going to the gauntlet test. So we're going to reset. We're going to wash off the magazines here really quick. We'll reset the test, and then we're just going to go straight through. We'll be right back. Guys, I want to stress that these types of tests are not scientific. All right, so when the military does tests like this, it's in a much more controlled environment. This is kind of redneck testing. Is it valuable? Are there information, data points here that will be valuable in helping you to decide if a firearm is going to be reliable or not? I think so. Do I think this is a definitive test, whether or not a firearm is to be trusted in adverse conditions? No, I don't. So it's part entertainment, part some interesting, maybe useful data points. Okay, per the operating rules, we can only rinse the gun off in its own dirty water before we start the gauntlet test. And we're trying to make sure that we give it a fair chance by working the action, trying to get the stuff out. But what we've noticed, it's not gritty, it's just, it's sticking, it's really smooth going back, but it's almost like water is keeping it, like it's hydrolocking. Weird, but I think we can get around in the chamber. So we're going to go ahead and, again, all we've done is washed off in its own dirty water. We washed the magazines off the water, loaded them with 15 rounds each. And here we go. Now, guys, this is meant to cause a failure. Before, we were just laying the gun in each of the elements out here. And in doing that, very little can actually get into the action of the gun, right? When we put it through the test this time, we're going to lay it in there. We're going to cover it up. So we're definitely going to get sand and dirt inside this thing. So it's definitely going to cause problems, I think. All right. Here we go. 10 rounds in the water, no rinse cycle in between. All right. Go to the sand, lay it down in there, cover it up, get sand in it nice and good, flip her over, again, get sand on it. All right, we'll shake it off a little bit, but guys, I'm going to predict problems on this one. All right, there's that bolt hanging up. Okay, I don't know what's causing that. It actually survived that with sand getting into its locking recess where its little rolling locking pin works. All right, pretty interesting. All right, let's load her up, go straight to the dirt. All right, push it down, throw some dirt on her. Remember that roller is right there, guys. All right. Here we go. Oh, stovepipe. Again, around in the chamber. Another stovepipe. Around the chamber. All right, locked open. Last one is the worst. And that's the mud. Here we go. Down, bring mud all over it. Turn it over. Get it nice and muddy. Get some of it off there. All right, guys. Jason took a good step back. I don't blame him. Here we go. Oh, really grimy, guys. Holy cow! Oh my goodness! All right, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination in terms of the run, but a lot better than we both predicted. Holy cow! All right, let's clean her up a little bit. Let me clean off a little bit, and we'll give you our final thoughts. So one thing we always do with the handguns is that we clean them up with the garden hose and see if we can get them to work again after just being hosed off with a garden hose. And we're going to do the same with the PCCs. All right, let's see if we can. Wow, that thing is gritty. It's amazing. It worked as well as it did. I can't even pull the charging handle to the rear now. That's crazy. Thing is definitely gritty. Really incredible its performance in the mud, if you ask me. All right. And even when we find this with our handguns and stuff, when we do this test, it'll be really gritty and we can't get anything to work. And then when we get it open, there's really not that much inside. I can't get this rear cap off. Huh. There we go. Kind of have to beat some of these parts off. Boy, that's gritty. Again, it just has so little stuff on it. But it's still... I cannot get that bolt out. That bolt is in there. There we go. All that grit. The roller's staying in it, but there doesn't seem like there's that much in there or on it. Just like with the handguns. It's amazing how little has to get in there to be so destructive to operation. I mean, there's nothing, and that looks pretty darn clean. Not lose our roller. All right, let's see if it goes together smooth. Definitely seems to be going in a little easier than it came out. All right. That goes up top. All right. Definitely got operation there. One of these magazines has rounds in it. Loaded now. Selector levers are very gritty. This thing's gonna need a real good cleaning after this. Let's see if she fires now. Stovepipe. Didn't lock open. All right. Interesting. Well, taking a look at how this thing performed, in the first series of tests, we had a couple malfunctions. Maybe that's because if we had run plus P in it, we wouldn't have had those issues, but I think these guns should work just fine on standard commercial range ammunition. So we had a couple of hiccups through the first test, had a couple of hiccups through the second test, but Jason and I both agree it did far better than we thought it would. this gun has its locking system completely exposed, and I was thinking sand or something would get in there and prevent it from unlocking. But apparently it can clear that during firing. It wasn't a perfect pass by any means, but I think it still did quite well. It did a lot better than we had expected it to. I'll let you guys be the judge. All right, guys, if you'd like to see more tests like this, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. We can't do this without you. We buy these guns, and this is not cheap to do, especially at today's prices. So if you want to support us and in our mission to bring you information like this, please follow the Patreon link down below and consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Also, right here on YouTube, you got a video player just underneath that. You got a little join button. Click that join button and support us right here on YouTube. And last but not least, swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thank you for 12 years of support. Yes, we'll be doing more of these here very soon, and we'll talk to you guys soon.